can call me Mystic Mac because I predict these things.
Aleksandar Rakic takes on Azamat Murzakanov this Saturday on the main card of UFC 321. And this is going to be a very entertaining fight on the feet between these two. Rakic, on a 3-fight losing streak, hasn't won a fight since March of 2021, but he's been fighting the best of the best. You know, blew out his knee to Jan Blachowicz, tore his ACL, came back, took on Jiří Procházka, and then recently lost to Magomed Ankalaev back in October of 2024. So on a 3-fight losing streak, hasn't fought in almost a year, taking on an absolute savage in Azamat Murzakanov, the 15-0 undefeated striker out of Russia, coming in off of a impressive first-round knockout over Brindison Ribeiro back in June. So I've been going back and forth on this one. You know, Aleksandar Rakic, very high-level fighter, going to be the much bigger guy on the feet, 6'4", 78-inch reach versus Murzakanov's 5'10", 71.5-inch reach. You know, Rakic got super heavy leg kicks, massive dude, can be tentative at times, but you know, he's got really good striking, really good movement, dangerous hands, just all around very effective guy on the feet. Whereas Azamat Murzakanov, you know, southpaw, very fast, very accurate, very explosive, likes to primarily use his boxing, kind of bouncing in and out, springing in with his combinations, stalking his opponents, just mixes things up very well. Snappy jab, feints well, knees, uppercuts. Doesn't throw a lot of kicks though. I think that, you know, it would benefit him a lot to open up kicks, but at 36 years old, 15-0, don't fix what's not broken. You know what I mean? So neither of these guys are terribly active. I expect Rakic to glide on the outside while Murzakanov's kind of the aggressor pushing forward. You know, Murzakanov in and out, looking to land straight left hands. Rakic looking to land kicks, land his 1-2s. I think a big thing in this fight is Rakic won't be able to land like that rear leg calf kick just because Murzakanov is southpaw. He won't be able to kind of attack that lead leg of the southpaw the way that he wants, but he can lead leg calf kick. It just won't be as powerful. So I think that takes away one of his biggest tools that we've seen him use in the past. Rakic also has had the layoff with the knee injury, hasn't been the most active. Azamat, you know, he's got the killer instinct that Rakic doesn't have. At times he's a little bit too tentative, a little too willing to kind of sit back and point strike to win fights, whereas Murzakanov's looking to take your head off as soon as the first bell rings. I think that Murzakanov, he'll be trying to make it chaotic and getting in Rakic's face from the get-go. We saw Rakic eating a lot of left hands from Ankalaev in their last fight, and that's what Murzakanov does really well. Is, you know, he'll throw that left hand, not even setting it up with the jab at times, just, you know, throwing it out there and doing a lot of damage with it, going to the body with it as well, throwing it to the chest, throwing it to the head. And we saw Rakic, you know, kind of struggle with that type of style against Jiří when, you know, Jiří just started to kind of throw the caution to the wind and just went for it. And that kind of marauding style is what I expect Murzakanov to kind of bring to the table. But I am worried about the cardio of Murzakanov, though. He puts a lot of volume out there. He's getting after it from the get-go, looking to put damage on guys and get them out of there early. And he kind of starts to gas midway, you know. Midway through the second round, always in the third round. We saw that in the Minifield fight. He was starting to gas in that fight before he got the finish over Minifield. In the third round, you know, even the second, but definitely the third round against Dustin Jacoby, he just, you know, wasn't a good look. He was dying. Didn't have the gas tank in that third round and lost it handily against Dustin Jacoby. The Nchukwi fight, you know, didn't look the best in that fight either. Was kind of losing that fight, starting to fade away before he caught Nchukwi with I think it was a punch and then a knee to get him out of there. So he's used to kind of getting guys out of there before his conditioning fails him, and he hasn't fought the best competition. He hasn't fought, you know, the level of fighter like Rakic. And, you know, he's able to get kind of these lower level guys out of there. The Brindison Ribeiros, the Alonzo Minifields, Devin Clarks, Tafon Nchukwi. Dustin Jacoby's good. But, you know, again, he had his big moments in that fight to win rounds, but then started to fade as the fight progressed. And I don't think that his type of style is going to work against somebody like Rakic. You know, he exerts a lot of energy, bouncing in and out, exploding with those huge shots. And that's what he's going to have to do to get inside of the reach and kind of the attacks coming back his way against Rakic, who's going to have a 6.5-inch reach advantage. Not even, you know, taking into account the fast, heavy kicks coming his way that he's going to have to, you know, look out for and, you know, maintain range from. Rakic does a really good job of fighting at his range, fighting at a good pace that he can maintain for the whole fight, control the distance, control the pace of the fight, you know, with his power, his reach, his kicks. And Murzakonov's the older guy. You know, he's older, he's smaller, 36 years old, only 5'10" for the division, carries a little bit of weight around the midsection. I just don't, Azamat doesn't get hurt like Rakic does. So I'm not saying that Murzakanov can't, you know, blitz him and hurt him and get him out of there, but Murzakanov hasn't been fighting Jan Blachowicz, Jiří Procházka, Ankalaev, you know, the top 5 of the division. These are the guys that are hurting Aleksandar Rakic, and he's looking good in those fights before he gets hurt or en route to losing decisions. So I would say both these guys have takedown threats as well. Murzakanov being from, you know, the Caucasus region of Russia, and Rakic, you know, we've seen him shoot takedowns in the past. We saw him get a, you know, like a treetop takedown over Jan Blachowicz in their fight. But I do expect this one to take place on the feet. I think that Murzakanov, you know, he's live for a KO, but I think as the fight progresses and Rakic starts to, you know, find his range, find his timing, he kind of slows it down. Murzakanov starts to kind of wear himself out with these big explosions, trying to get in on the rangier fighter in Rakic. I think that Rakic will, you know, be picking and moving at distance, using all of his weapons versus the shorter power puncher Murzakanov, and just kind of taking over as the fight progresses. So I'm going to go with Aleksandar Rakic to stay safe on the feet, do his typical kind of like lateral movement on the back foot, looking to counter, moving forward every once in a while. But I do think that he'll be able to do enough in this one, stay safe, and outpoint Murzakanov en route to a decision win. Thanks.